All right, welcome back, everyone. Thank you for joining me on this crazy journey of building this insane Willys Jeep powered by a turbocharged Hayabusa motor. And today we're going to do a review of the previous year now that it's the new year. And I'm going to show you guys what we accomplished and what we have coming in the near future on this build. Well, guys, a whole nother year has passed and it doesn't look like we've got a whole lot done on the Jeep. Now, I know I didn't think it was going to take this long myself, but the further into it I get, I can't compromise on some things. Some things just take time. I don't know what I'm doing most of the time.
You know what? I have no idea what I'm doing. I have no idea.
So I got to research it. I have to be very confident in what I'm doing before I start something. And I get lost on tangents all the time.
He made me this collar so that I may talk. Squirrel!
That take up a significant amount of my time. So I appreciate you guys sticking with me through this. So grab yourself a drink, whatever your favorite beverage is. Sit down, let's go through what we've accomplished this year and some of the things that are coming in this coming year, which probably not going to be the last year for it, but we should be able to drive it before next winter. So let's get right into it. All right, so first thing, we started off the year diving into the chain drive steering system. I'll show some clips here of how that went, and we ended up revisiting it later as well to make it even better. I've had a number of people mention that maybe this should be revisited again. I don't see an issue with it myself. Now that we've got two chains, it's tensioned. Our bump steer is 0. We're sitting exactly where we need to sit. There really isn't any other options. I can't come up with a single thing in my head that allows that center part of that rack to be in line with where the driver sits. There isn't a way. It's too close to where it actually has to push out and actually steer the driver's side tire. So there is no way. It's only like that far away from the edge of the frame rail, which is where that has to actually sit. So I don't know what you guys want from me. I mean,
What do you want from me?
maybe it could be done with inside of a case that's lubed or something like that, but I don't see the point, because for the most part, those things, when you buy them online, they still run a chain in them anyways. Most of them dry. And so I'm not going to get any benefit from running a purchased one as opposed to, what I have on here right now. So I'm forgetting about it. This is where it's going to stay. But I do have some cool upgrades or some cool things coming for the steering, on the other side of the firewall. That might be one of the very first builds that I tackle here, but I'm having trouble finding something for that. We'll get into that in a little while. Next up, we built our drive shaft. I'm surprised, actually, I didn't have anybody say anything bad about the drive shaft. I think it's going to work fine. Obviously, the only thing left to do is weld that sprocket in the end. I don't want to do that until I have the new output shaft on the engine, so that I know 100% for sure, that everything is lined up before I weld that in. Because once that one's welded in, there's no adjusting it from then on. And right now, with that sprocket off of there, it's really easy to remove the whole drive shaft. Oh, actually, yeah, this year we got the transmission mounted. Got that 90% into place. There's still, once I have it flipped upside down, I can still add a couple of these other braces in there. But for the most part, that's in place, aligned, done and ready to go. We built the pedals. I just got, actually, all my brake stuff in. So that's the balance bar adjuster. Can't quite see it, but there's some brake cylinders in there. I got some cups, and I actually have two of everything, because I don't know if you guys remember when I ordered all of this stuff, the original shipment got lost, so we had that order canceled and a new shipment sent out, and actually they both arrived within 2 days of each other. So, but one was like 6 months late. So I'm just gonna keep them both. If I ever need spares, I got both sets. So pedal assembly, working, functioning pedals can be coming up on the list here shortly as well. Then we made our CV shafts. This was pretty controversial as well. I think they turned out really, really nice. Like when I turned them on my makeshift horizontal or vertical lathe there, and it read out as 0, I was pretty floored at that, honestly. And like I said, the cost to make new ones is like custom CV joints, you know, end to end, not just the shaft in the middle, is like $2,000. I think for now, until I at least have a proof of concept, I think that is a kind of a waste of money. If I blow these ones up the first time I go out, I'll be thrilled to spend the $2,000 to get something custom. But until then, if it's just an unknown factor at this point, because realistically I don't know if the transmission's going to hold that. I don't know if the drive shaft is actually going to hold that. I don't know if the engine's going to blow the first time I take it out. Really hope not. There's going to be a lot of money into that engine by the time I'm done. So yes, we did that. We built the shifter for the Porsche transaxle in the back there. That turned out pretty sweet, actually, I thought. Turned that on the lathe and then didn't really polish it. I don't know if I showed you guys or not. Let me grab the end piece here. Oh, I think I did it in a community post just with a picture. Hopefully you can see there. So it is quite raised up. And the point of this is to epoxy this into place on top of the shifter, you know, in a nice dish, and then round that off and make it nice and smooth so that this is showing up, you know, kind of on top of that. So that's going to be pretty cool once it's done. Again, that shifter, that's not really being used on the daily kind of thing. Maybe it will be. I don't know. Maybe I'll just free flow shift that thing while I'm driving too. We don't know yet exactly how it's going to work. Technically, I should be able to shift that when I'm driving, because I mean, it's no different than the Porsche. The Porsche had an engine up front, that in the back, and the clutch was up front. So the clutch stopped putting force into the drive shaft, which is exactly what I'm going to be doing. When I put my foot in for the clutch, it's going to stop putting force through onto the chain, which is now a drive shaft, just like a motorbike. I should be able to shift that up or down, but we don't know. we're gonna have to wait and see, find out for sure. I shouldn't really need to. I mean, I want to be paddle shifting it, which is gonna bring up some more issues coming here soon too. We built the dry sump oil tank. That thing was a pain in the to build. But I did save like $1,000+ Canadian by building that myself. So I don't regret doing it. Had I not done the tube thing on it, if I would have just came straight out sideways, probably would have saved a significant amount of time, because actually I ended up having leaks in behind that 90 that I really couldn't get to. So I actually had to cut the whole top of the tube off in order to weld from the inside, weld the top of the tube back on, and make it look like it was a tube again. So that was not very fun. Built the, then we got ourselves my new tool, the lathe mill combo. And very first thing we went with, we built the 90 amp alternator conversion there. Here's some clips of that, obviously. I think it turned out pretty good. Maybe the finished design shape of it isn't super fancy or anything, but functionality wise, I think it's gonna work really great. Next thing we did, we built ourselves our own wastegate from scratch, because I've lost my damn mind. It probably would have been easier to buy the real one in I think it's 45 mil, but then I would have had to change out the output side on the header and the downpipe, and I don't know. I may end up having to do that. If this thing doesn't work, that's my next thing that I'm gonna have to do anyways. So that's what we accomplished this year. I know it's not an absolute ton. It was one of my busier years for work. This next year, I'm hoping to dial that back, so that I have time for this. I want a significant amount of work done on this thing. And there's only a few ways to do that, and that's what I'm gonna have to do is, pretty much cut back on my work. And I work on drilling rigs, so I kind of have the option when I want to work. If I want to work a lot during the summer or none at all or whatever. Either way, I have to focus on something. When I don't have something specific to focus on, I'll lose track of weeks. Literally weeks inside of here without accomplishing anything, and I absolutely hate that. It drives me nuts. So what are we going to be doing next year? We have a whole bunch of fuel pump and products on the way. They don't ship until the end of January. There's some pretty cool tech that came out. I don't know how long ago it came out, but there's some pretty cool stuff out there nowadays. I'm not going to go with a brushless fuel pump. I don't think I gain a lot of value going that way, but Holley makes a pretty cool product that's actually going to save me a whole lot of time in my tank fabrication. So I'm going with something that they have, and you guys will see that once I start building that. So we have all the dimensions for it already. We got to get everything cut. Next up, we've got the grill. I need a grill on this thing to give it a different look. When you're looking at the exact same shape all the time, it doesn't look like anything's being accomplished. And that might be something that's holding me back for motivation, maybe. I mean, it's a long project. It's hard to stay motivated sometimes. So we have, I am going to try and press out of steel my own custom grill, one piece. I'm not going to, well, you guys know how I did the hammer forming before. This is gonna be a little bit different. I'm getting a positive and a negative mold made, and I am gonna drive something really, really heavy on top of it with a huge chunk of steel plate and attempt to press this thing together. And I may waste a whole bunch of money doing this. And like, because if this doesn't work, my next option is to buy 2 brand new grills, splice them, and try to make them taller, which is my big issue. And welding in and out of each one of those and making it perfect is going to take a lot of time. So this is worth the gamble to try first. And I know I don't know if it's gonna work. It might not work. We might have a pretty good failure on this show. Hopefully not though, because I'd rather this work and not have to spend a whole bunch more money. Okay, so we got fuel system parts coming. I have all the brake parts here now as well. We're doing the grill. Wheels. I am dying trying to find frickin' wheels. I have to go with 15-inch wire, 15-inch diameter wheels in a 5-bolt with like a 0 offset. Now, I've been looking at 8-inch wide, which, you know, there's a few, literally a few options out there. But the more I think about it, 8 inches wide is not going to give me a whole lot of traction on this thing. It's going to be crazy drifty, which is going to be fun, but I also want some damn traction. So I might try and find something in the 10-inch wide categories. I'm still struggling. Like, I have called companies about getting custom monoblock magnesium wheels made, and even they are pretty much not able to, because I need, you know, the 0 offset kind of thing. Like, they can't get in there that deep unless I'm going to like a 3-piece, and then custom 3-piece wheels, I'm looking at, yeah, an absolute fortune for wheels. I don't know really what to do. I might just find something cheap for now, and just so I can say I've got a roller. You know, it'd be nice to put it on some wheels. There's going to come a point where I got to get it off the table here, and it'd be really nice if it was sitting on something other than some chunks of 2x4s. So once the fuel tank is built, the grill's built, then we can build the hood, then we can build some fenders, and there's not a whole lot left. I mean, we have to do wiring. You know, that's like every other build. You have to do some wiring. We have to rebuild the motor, but I want to start this motor before I rebuild it, because I need to get that ECU functional, because once I rebuild this, it'll have new pistons and rings in it. And once I've got rings in it, you got to seat the rings, so you can't have ECU issues while you're doing that. It needs to run the first time, seat those rings, and then you can play around with tuning for the turbo.
This is a process. It's a process. It's a process. Okay?
So there's definitely some challenges involved with this. I've never done a Mega Squirt ECU, so I'm sure this is not going to be a fun part of the project.
Sounds like fun.
Not fun.
But it's something that's got to be done for sure. So what else is next? Oh, we got to build the intercooler tank that's going back here. The small little water intercooler tank. And then on the opposite side, a battery tray. And I'm going to go with 0 gravity batteries. That's those ones that are like, a full-size battery is like this heavy. Like, you just lift it, outstretched arm. Save a ton of weight there. Because again, the whole reason for this is power to weight ratio. That's what's key in a build like this. So it has to be done that way. And then pretty much the rest is kind of cosmetic. I mean, there's my goal is to do like the run, or not rundown, but like a beat the crap out of this thing this year right now in 2022. I want to beat on it and know that nothing's going to break before I tear it right down for paint. That's my goal. So that includes fully assembling it, running it on this motor, pulling out the motor, rebuilding the motor, putting it back in, beat the crap out of it, and then over next winter we can tear it apart and paint it. Now, if I get way further ahead than that, that's fantastic. But I know I'm trying not to aim too super high, and hopefully we can achieve that goal. One of the other really cool things that I have not shown you guys yet is this fancy new tool that I got. So, might be hard to see, I don't have any light shining on this. I got a massive 3D printer, and I am doing carbon fiber printing. That is the goal. That's pretty much the only filaments that I bought. So I have to build a huge case for this thing. It's going to be going back here along this wall, you know, the fancy LED lights and everything. And hopefully we can end up making some really cool stuff for this build. But yeah, these things all take so much time when you're by yourself, you're one person. You have to think up the idea, you have to come up with a way to do it, and then you have to physically do it and install it yourself afterwards. People don't realize this is an incredibly long process. Most of these other channels, they have so many guys working on these projects, or they're skipping 80% of this. It's something somebody else has done, or they're not going to the level that I'm trying to reach with this, because as a street car, this is not just something I'm going to be whipping around in a field. This needs to be safe, it needs to be reliable, and it damn well needs to look good. I'm sorry, but that's a big part of builds. I want this thing to be flawless when I'm finished. And I know it's a long ways from that right now, but that's what next winter is going to be for. But anyways, I really do appreciate you guys joining me. I hope that you guys stick with me through this new year, and with the new channel name, hopefully it's easier for people to find. I don't know. I don't know if that's what YouTube was stopping me for. We'll find out this coming year. So thank you guys again. This is Limitless Builds, and we'll see you next time. Oh, smash that subscribe button.